I'm Evan Campbell with Indestructible Art, and I'm here with Adam, who made an awesome game called Hidden in Plain Sight. It seems to be quite the smash hit here at IndieCade 2012.
Thanks.
Can you tell us a little bit about making the game, like what went into it? What made you come up with this idea?
Sure. So Hidden in Plain Sight is a game where players are trying to blend in with computer-controlled characters. There's a lot of tension. They want to blend in, but they don't want to give themselves away because other players will take them out of the game. The inspiration came from games like Spy Party, Assassin's Creed, games that had this idea of blending in with computer-controlled characters. And I really wanted to put the players in a state of tension. They want to complete their goals, but by looking like completing the goals, it also poses a risk of eliminating themselves from the game. So that's where the inspiration came from.
So basically, when you start playing the game, you can play with up to 4 people.
Right.
You get one character that you can control, and then you also get a bullet that you can shoot.
Right. So there's 5 different game modes.
Okay.
The most popular one, which people are playing in there, is called Death Race.
Okay.
It's a race to try and get across the finish line first. It's like a race, but everybody in the race has a gun with 1 bullet in it.
It sounds like my kind of race.
So do you want to go fast and win the race, or people might shoot you if you do that, or do you go slow and try and hang back? But that also makes it harder to be the first one across the finish line.
Sure. This seems to be the mode that everybody's playing, but what other modes are there?
Okay, so there's a couple modes. Another one's called Ninja Party. There's a room full of ninjas.
All right.
You're controlling one, I'm controlling one, and other players are each controlling one other one. And there's a whole bunch of computer-controlled ninjas. And they all walk randomly around on the screen. And so you and I walk around trying to look like computer-controlled ninjas, but also trying to figure out who the other players are. Because we can attack them and hit them and take them out of the game.
Right.
There's another one where there's a bunch of coins in the room, and one team plays the thieves. They're trying to take the coins. The other team plays the snipers, and they're trying to figure out who's stealing the coins. Stuff like that.
That's kind of awesome. It seems like you kind of taking this like a hide and seek type of mechanic with guns.
It has its roots in social games like Mafia and Werewolf, board games with some hidden role kind of mechanics. And sort of boils those down to their essentials. And then I came up with a couple different game modes that try and play off that theme.
So the platform you chose to build your game on is Xbox Live?
Yes.
And that's in the Indie Game Store, right?
Yes, it's in the Indie Game Store.
So what made you decide to go that route instead of maybe just creating for Mac and PC
Sure.
something like that?
So I have a day job. I'm a business software developer, and the language we use at my work is C#. So that's what that's Microsoft's .NET C#. That's natural. That's sort of my natural language, and that's what XNA is in. So it was a very easy fit for me to make an Xbox game. Also, the Xbox Live Indie Games channel, you pay $99 and anyone can go out and put a game out there. So there's a really low barrier of entry. Making games is just a hobby for me.
Right.
So I didn't want to invest a lot of money. I didn't want to. I just wanted to do what was easiest, and that was one of the easiest venues to get a game out there.
How's the reception been for you showing your game here?
It's been really great. When I first started making games, I harbored dreams of striking rich and making a game that everybody would buy, the next Angry Birds or whatever. What I didn't really anticipate was the reward I'd get from people emailing me and saying, your game is awesome, we really enjoy playing it. I mean, that's really worth a lot of money.
Every once in a while, the indie devs on Xbox Live will put together the Indie Uprising. Have you been a part of that before? Or?
I have not. I've sort of watched them happen. I haven't been a part of them. I'm not really sure how it all works out. I haven't really followed them that closely. I think it would be pretty cool, but
it might be easier now, right?
You know what? There's my game, which is a local multiplayer-only game. You have to have 2 or 3 or 4 friends in the same room to play. And there are a couple other games that are local multiplayer games. And there was some talk of putting together like a package, like a little bit of Uprising for these local multiplayer games.
Right.
I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I'd be happy to see it and buy those games. So right now you're kind of limited to like the local like couch space, right, for your game.
Right.
Would you ever consider like breaking that out and just making it an online game at some point?
People have asked that, and it's something I've thought about a lot because obviously you limit your market when you say you have to have other people in the room.
Right.
Not everybody can do that. I think with this specific game, imagine you were sitting in the room by yourself playing it with online opponents. I just don't think it would be as fun. Half the fun of the game is looking at the people that you're playing with sitting right across from you and, laughing and joking around with them. So I don't think it would work as an online game.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome point.
Thanks.
What went into making the art for the game? Was that all you, or do you have help?
A friend of mine is a talented artist, and he drew the title and loading screen for me, which was really cool.
Okay.
The character sprites and the rest of the art from the game are just free to use graphics that I found off the web. So I really tried to make the game with it. I mean, I did make the game with a $0 budget. I used free sound effects. I used free graphics that I could find off the web. I have a friend who's a musician who donated the music for me. So I really just sort of begged, borrowed, and stole everything I could find to make the game.
That's awesome.
Well, not stole, but begged and borrowed.
If there, sometimes people get the sense that like maybe indie devs are a little bit bitter towards like the more AAA type of games and stuff. And you had mentioned that you got references from games like Assassin's Creed and stuff. Like, how do you feel about that kind of like contention? Because it seems like you're like, I just like games, so I want to play everything. Right?
That's a good question. I think mainstream games have a responsibility to corporations, and they have a bottom line that they need to make. They need to make a certain amount of money, and therefore they're limited in their choices of what kinds of games they can make. They need to make something that has mass market appeal.
Right.
I'm just a hobbyist. I want to make a game that is fun for me to make, maybe not sell as well, but my bottom line is trying to make something fun and new and unique, and even if it doesn't sell well, I've got a different motivation than mainstream market. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
I think they're just a little hamstrung that they are forced to making games that have public appeal.
But do you think that like at the heart of what you're saying about why you make games is kind of what makes good games good?
I think I think there's
That's
a
great
wide
sentence,
space.
by the way. Good games good.
I know what you're saying. I think there's a wide space. When people do experimental games, they'll make something maybe that's fun, maybe that's sort of thought-provoking, but not really fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways you can go. So yeah.
Okay. As an indie developer, is there anything that you kind of would like to see going forward in games? Is there any like maybe tools out there that would help you more? Is there anything you can kind of touch on?
Yeah, that's a good question. Right now, there's no Kinect support for Xbox Live indie game developers. I think that would be really cool. There was a cool Kinect-based game in there that would be fun to make for the Xbox, but I think you need to be XBLA or higher to make Kinect games. What I would like to see less of is interaction with Facebook and interaction with Twitter in games. When I see a game that wants to connect to my Facebook account,
right, it's like,
it turns
no
my
thanks.
stomach a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the indie spirit really gets away from that kind of sort of mainstream marketing, I guess.
Right on. Can you just quickly say the fastest way to get to your game?
Sure. The fastest way to get to my game is probably Google Hidden in Plain Sight Xbox, and that'll take you right to the Microsoft online store. You can search for it on the Xbox Live Indie Games on the Xbox itself, and you download the game straight from there.
And how much does it cost?
80 points, $1.
80 points, $1. Hidden in Plain Sight. Go get it right now. Do it.